I hope you take enormous pride in the historical accomplishments we have achieved.
People understand we have a broken criminal justice system.
Imagine the United States joining the rest of the industrialized world and guaranteeing health care to all people as a right, not a privilege.
Bernard Sanders, also known as Bernie Sanders, is an American politician. Born on September 8, 1941 in Brooklyn, New York, to two Jewish parents of Polish descent, Sanders grew up in a lower-class family, and income inequality would later become one of his key political issues.
I will never forget about how money, or really lack of money, was always a point of stress in our family. My mother's dream was that someday our family would move out of that rent-controlled apartment to a home of our own. That dream was never fulfilled. She died young while we still lived in that rent-controlled apartment. My experience as a child living in a family that struggled economically powerfully influenced my life and my values. I know where I came from.
He attended Brooklyn College before earning a bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Chicago.
Chicago! Chicago!
While in Chicago, he became involved in the civil rights movement. He also became active in the anti-Vietnam War movement, which drew him into electoral politics. Nationally, Sanders takes up about 19% of Democratic primary voters. In the New Hampshire primary, Sanders takes up 12%, while in the Iowa caucus, Sanders takes up 24%. Sanders has raised a total of $18.2 million for his campaign, with 525,000 donors helping out. An average donation for Sanders is $20, and he currently has $28 million on hand. A signature policy that Sanders has is free tuition or college for all. Sanders believes that no student who is willing and able to go to college should be denied based on the income of their parents. Sanders introduced the College for All Act, which would make all public colleges and universities tuition free. To qualify for this act, states would have to foot 33% of the bill, while the federal government would sponsor the rest and take various steps to maintain or increase expenditure on improving opportunities for students and faculty. A self-described democratic socialist and progressive, Sanders is known for his opposition to economic inequality. On domestic policy, he broadly supports labor rights and has supported universal and single-payer health care, paid parental leave, and tuition-free university education. On foreign policy, he broadly supports reducing military spending, pursuing more diplomacy and international cooperation, and putting greater emphasis on labor rights and environmental concerns when negotiating international trade agreements. Bernie Sanders' current slogan for the 2020 presidential race is, "Not me, us," which is a direct rebuke of current President Donald Trump's 2016 message of, "I alone can fix America." Sanders states that no one person can take on the most powerful, wealthy people in the country alone, and that the only way we transform America is when millions of people together stand up and fight back. Amid speculation that he would launch a second bid for the presidency, reports surfaced of sexism and pay disparity in Sanders' 2016 campaign. In January 2019, he publicly apologized and promised to do better if he were to run again. The following month, Sanders announced that he was running for president. This has been one of the few political scandals against Sanders, but this blow may have been significant due to the increased number of women who vote under the Democratic ticket, as women are a key demographic that any candidate must appeal to. Some pros regarding Bernie Sanders is that he is a natural politician who has been preparing because he has been in politics for years. He is second in the polls behind Joe Biden, he has very few political scandals overall, and focuses on policy. Some cons of Bernie Sanders include that he can easily be hit with the socialist communist label that has a negative stigma around it. He preaches his agenda, but realistically with the Republican-controlled Senate, it will be nearly impossible for the agenda to be enacted. He has famously struggled to appeal to Black and other minority voters. And while there are not many scandals, there was a report of sexism in the 2016 election campaign.